The following presentation is rated R for real. Real insight, real enlightenment, real talk, big people argument. In other words, adult content. Viewers' discretion is advised. Now, the term narcissist has become a common utterance for many. Persons have a tendency to brand others as such with very little knowledge regarding narcissism. This day, we're going to go to the root of the matter, where I like to go. Because narcissism is in no way just an overnight thing. It never just popped up. It never popped up out of the blues, pop up from nowhere. It has been passed down from generation to generation like a curse. Generational curse is also a term used often with very little comprehension. And as of such, the generational curse of narcissism gets overlooked. And the saddest part is this: the ones who become narcissists many times are ignorant of the fact that they are. This is the Relationship Blueprint. Relationship Matters edition with yours truly, Sarah the Love Philosopher, your guide to living a meaningful, loving, and lasting relationship. Welcome to you all, and to the regulars who are learning to be the relationship architects that you ought to be, welcome back. Now, relationship, just like anything in life, needs principle to succeed. Many relationship fails because persons have little or no knowledge of these principles. Knowledge is said to be power, but it's really the application of knowledge that is actually power. Knowing something but failing to apply what you know still gets you nowhere. Now, this is a safe space where you come to receive deep insight on relationship, that of the principles of relationship, and so much more. And the reason for that, when you come here so you can become equipped with the knowledge needed for you to be able to have a loving, lasting, and meaningful relationship. Now, let's get into the session for this day, that of the narcissistic parent or parents. When your foundation, the very foundation that you were raised on, was toxic. As I've always said in many cases, sessions, or public speaking engagements, that when it comes to finding out the truth, you need to get to the root. So let's start with the foundation, that being the narcissistic parent. Who's the narcissistic parent? A narcissistic parent is someone who has narcissistic personality disorder, what is known as NPD, or strong narcissistic traits, and tend to use their children to meet their own emotional needs. Now, in a healthy family, a parent or the parents sees to tend to the needs of the child, that being nurturing, guiding them, showing them love, and protecting them. A child is valued for who they are in such a family, and in no way for what they can do. But when it comes to a narcissistic family, children exist to serve the parent, that being to validate them, to show them admiration, and this is the key one, to obey them always, and to reflect well on them, to make them look good. Children are valued for what they give the parent, it being status or control. That is what it is like in a narcissistic household. A household that is governed by a narcissistic parent or parents. The child is in no way seen as a person. The child is seen as an extension of the parent. A narcissistic parent will say things like, you think you're going to make me look bad? You're not going to do that, or you're not going to do this, because what? It's going to reflect back on the parent. Or they may say something like, what do you think I have you for? The whole purpose of the child is to serve the parent in a narcissistic household. The core personalities of a narcissistic parents are as follows. Personality one. Here's the personalities of the narcissistic parents. One, they lack empathy for the child. They lack the following capabilities: that of to accommodate the child's emotions, celebrate the child's unique personality, and put the child's needs above their own. For example, the child comes home excited from school because they got a B plus on their test. All right? Mommy, or daddy, I got a B plus on my test. And instead of saying, well done, a B plus, that's all, you couldn't get an A. Your brother or your sister always get A's. Why you can't get an A? Or they may say something like, oh, that's great, honey. That's great, baby. But let me tell you about my day. I had such a stressful day. Right away, they take the focus off the child. Let me tell you about my day. I had such a stressful day. Or they may say something like, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get too cocky. A B? That's all you got? Just a B plus? Or it could be worse. They could be so caught up in their phone or watching the TV and say, all right, cool. All right, that's good. And give the child no attention. Another scenario is this. The child is hurting, crying, and needs comfort. They go to the parent, hoping they'll be consoled, hoping they'll receive comfort for whatever the situation is. And instead of the child receiving comfort, what they may hear from this narcissistic parent is, stop being so dramatic. What you're crying for? You're so sensitive. That is what you're crying for? Or in Jamaican terminology, or a Jamaican parent who's narcissistic, could be elsewhere in the Caribbean, but I can speak about Jamaica. A Jamaican parent who's narcissistic might say, that you cry for? My me give you something for ball about. You want something for cry for? You lose the finals. So what? That you cry for? But I put in so much training and we put in all that and we thought, yeah, that you cry for. You want something for cry for? Me give you something for cry for. That is how the narcissistic parent would behave. The second personality of the narcissistic parent is conditional love. Love for a narcissistic parent is based on performance. You have to do something to receive their love. So the child will learn that if I want to make mommy and daddy happy, I have to make them feel good. I have to be obedient. Regardless, I have to do that. If I fail to obey them or to make them feel good or look good, then listen, it's going to be hell on earth. The child learns that failing to make them look good and obey them regardless shows weakness, and then they will be rejected. So what this creates in the child is perfectionism, fear of failure, people-pleasing tendencies, and the inability to accept oneself. The third personality trait of a narcissistic parent is neglect. A narcissistic parent either, we call this now, enmeshed, as in creates boundaries, no privacy for the child. Put it that way. The parent controls everything, the child's entire life, where they go, what they do, who are their friends. The parent is in total control. And the parent uses the child as emotional spouse or a confidant. I see this happen with single mothers, mostly, wherein the daughter becomes the best friend, where she starts tell her certain things that a mother ought to in no way be telling the daughter. I won't get into that, but I'm pretty sure some of y'all can relate to what I'm saying. The child's identity is merged with that of the parent in a situation like this. When it comes to the neglect aspect of it, the parent is physically present but emotionally unavailable. Remember, the parent is relying on the child as an emotional confidant. They go and pour out on the child instead of the child coming and pouring out on them. The child needs are ignored. The parent tend to prioritize their own needs and interests over that of the child. Child need a school shoes, but no, I forgot the next session. That can't wait. And in many cases, the child end up raising themselves. There's a parent in the house, but the child is raising themselves and sometimes raising their siblings. Sometimes the same parent does both. Create the boundaries when they need to do so, when they think they need to do so, and neglect when the child needs them. The next personality trait of the narcissistic parent is they use the child for narcissistic supply. What do I mean by that? The child is a tool for the parent untamed or fragile ego. And when I say this now, let me bring clarity to it. Because many of you are going to be like, oh, okay, I know of that person, I know of that person. You may be able to say you know of several persons who tends to do this. Let me not even say that yet. Let me just give the scenarios. They'll say things like, look how successful my child is. The whole bragging rights thing. Oh, that's my child, My child is so smart. My child is so this. My child is so that. My child is so beautiful. The whole living through the child thing is what we never wanted to say just yet. So when it comes to the child displaying need of the parent, they say, my child needs me. I have to go home to my child, and my child needs me. Because what? It makes them feel important. It's not because they're living up to their responsibility, but they want to feel important. You may say things like, my child obeys me, because it gives them a sense of control. So even if the child is being obedient out of fear, it no matter, as long as the child is being obedient. But the moment the child fails to stroke their ego, so to speak, the child wants to assert independence, has their own identity, or embarrasses them, oh my goodness, the parent becomes a bounty killer, cross, angry, and miserable. The rage kicks out, or if they don't carry on that way, the parent withdraws. The withdrawal syndrome kicks in. Walk past the child as though the child is a total stranger. Say little or nothing to the child. That type of tendency. The fifth personality trait of a narcissistic parent is the gaslighting or reality distortion. The narcissistic parent has a tendency to rewrite reality. Now, check these few scenarios. The child may say something like, you said I could go to the party. The parent, in turn, will say, I never said that. You sure I did? You sure you never misunderstood? I don't think you're lying, no, but I don't recall saying that. The child may say something like, you hurt my feelings when you said that to mommy or daddy. You hurt my feelings. The parent's response would be, you're too sensitive. I meant nothing by it. Excuse me. Or, did I say that? You sure I said that? I don't remember saying anything like that. No, a lot of Caribbean persons can relate to that one here. You'll be able to relate to this. Parent hit the child. The child says, you hit me. That's abuse. Parent in turn make you know that I abuse you. I'm disciplining you. That's not abuse. Further all, I am your parent. Now give me no talk. You must listen to me. Me your parent. Me your mother, me your father. Me bring you come here, me can take you out of the world. That's how you go, love. Me bring you into the world, me can take you out of the world. That is a trait of a narcissistic parent. These traits cause a child to learn to doubt their own memory, their own feelings, and their own reality. The sixth personality of a narcissistic parent is role reversal. They will call it the parentification, wherein the child becomes the parent. The child becomes the emotional caregiver, the therapist, the mediator, the protector. And from this, that child will learn that their feelings in no way matters, and they exist only to manage that of the parent or parent's feelings. The child will also grow up thinking that they are responsible for their parents' happiness. And that if they're upset, it is their fault. As in, if the parent is upset, the child is at fault. So what this does is it creates a level of codependency that follows the child through adulthood. I wonder if y'all seen what's happening already. I wonder if y'all getting what's happening already. Y'all get why so much persons are messed up? It's all because of the root, the foundation. Thank you, love. Now, there are two types of narcissistic parents. The first type is the overt narcissist, all right, the dominator, the one who will beat you with a Dutch pot and the cutlass, and the one when I take no chat from you. Cause what? You're the child. I am the parent. I govern the thing. I run the show. You listen to me. This parent is openly aggressive, controlling, and demanding. They're rageful when they are disobeyed. You're told to look out for rice and peas, and because you never soak the peas, and you decide to, all right, you're look out for some plain rice today, on big Sunday. What me tell you for look out for the rice and peas? How dare you disobey? How dare you are defiant? Now, thank you, love. If you ever dare shame or embarrass them in public, now go pretty on you at all. They tend to rule out of fear. This kind of narcissistic parent expects perfection, always. It's like the father who screams at the son, rough him up for getting a B, and calls him worthless, and compares him to other children. That kind of parent. When you want to turn musician, you're an idiot. Do something good with your life. You want to be a footballer? You want to be what? You don't have no pride. Now, the second type of narcissistic parent is that of the covert narcissistic parent that you call the martyr. This parent is passive aggressive, and they tend to use guilt trip and manipulation as their weapon of control over the child. They tend to play victim and say things like, after all I've done for you, you know how much sacrifice I make for you? I wanted to be a nurse, and because I got pregnant with you, I gave up my dreams. Yeah, they use that as a weapon, the self-sacrifice. They're emotionally fragile. The child must protect their ego at all times. They rule with guilt, while the overt narcissist parent rules with fear. The roles that children play, as in these parents give these children roles. In narcissistic family, children are assigned roles. The first role is that of the golden child. I ain't talking the movie now with Eddie Murphy, no. But the golden child. This child is what I call now The pet. I say that call it love. Mommy or daddy's pet. The favorite. Yeah, that's the golden child. The perfect one. Can do no wrong. Overly praised, overly valued. Excuse me. The child that represents the parent's success. So he's the golden child. Almost treated like a golden egg. How the parents tend to treat them is that keep telling them you're so special, you are better than everyone. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, they shower them with attention, gifts, and privileges. Now the thing is this: what this teaches such a child is that the rules now apply to them. They develop this level of entitlement. And they go through life thinking that this is how everyone is to treat them. Lord them. And they grow up with a fragile ego. Self-worth is based on being the best. They fear failure. Tell themselves that if I'm in no way perfect, I'm worthless. They lack empathy because of the mindset that I'm more important than anyone. And as a result, they will develop narcissistic traits. The golden child grows up believing they deserve admiration. As I said, they're better than others, and people was made to serve them. The second role given to the children of narcissistic parents is that of the scapegoat. Some of you may be able to relate with this one. Who's the scapegoat? The problem child. The child who always gets the blame for doing even nothing. The child that is ridiculed, making know that you can do nothing right because it was never done the way the parent wanted it to be done. Even if it's done the correct way, it is no way done right. The scapegoat, another term for the scapegoat, I would say, is like that of the black sheep or the Cinderella in the family. This is a child that represents everything that the parent hate. Parent despise these things. Oh my goodness. Dixon, I'm pretty sure there are a lot more persons here who can relate to the scapegoat role. All right? Stick around. Stick around. Gets more in depth. Now, how the parents tend to treat this child is say things like, you are the reason this family is a mess. You are the reason why that. They're always blamed. Even if the golden child is the one at fault. Why can't you be like your brother? Why can't you be like your sister? You're so lazy. You're so stupid. You're worthless. These are the things that the scapegoat hears from this narcissistic parent. Ongoing criticism, punishment, and rejection. So what the scapegoat child grows up believing is that they are in no way good enough. Everything is their fault. They're unlovable. And they become extreme people pleasers, or I don't want to touch that one yet. So as a people pleaser, they have a tendency to accept abuse as normal. Them to set boundaries. They become codependent. All right, Dixon, I'll get to your comment after the presentation. We're going to talk about it. All right, so If the scapegoat in no way becomes an extreme people pleaser, they become a rebel or a narcissist. Their thing is, everyone is against me. They use the victim mentality, or they become very angry, very rebellious, and they may very well develop narcissistic traits as a means of protection. The third role given to the child of a narcissistic parent is the lost child, the invisible one. This is the quiet one, the one that is overlooked, the forgotten child, the Kevin in Home Alone. So they stay away, they stay out of the way of many things, and they try their best to get another crossfire. This is a child that gets ignored ongoingly by the parent. Parent treats them with indifference. They would tell them that they were fine when the child is in no way fine. No, you're good, man. You don't need that. All right, you don't need that. Your brother or sister need that. The golden child needs that. When the golden child needs, appeared needs, is just a want. They get minimal attention, praise, and affection. They get a whole lot of emotional neglect. What this does to such a child is they learn that they're in no way of anything significant. Then they no matter, them no matter. Their needs is in no way important. And they grow up thinking to themselves, I have to take care of myself. Such a child grow up emotionally distant. They struggles with intimacy. They tend to feel invisible in relationships. So it's either completely self-sufficient or desperately needed. So this is one of the reasons why you get involved with someone and they, no matter how much you try to show them affection, no matter how much you try to be intimate with them, get close to them, they tend to be withdrawn. The reason very well may be that they were the child of a narcissistic parent. The fourth role given to a child of a narcissistic parent is that of the caretaker, the parentified child. This is the child who tends to take care of everyone. The brother or sister who had to grow up quickly for whatever reason. A single mother with four children. And one had to assume the role of parent from early. If it's the son who's the eldest, he becomes the man of the house. They become the facilitator of conflicts. And it could be wherein the mother and the father is still in the household. But the child had to become the parent, being the mediator, one who manages the parent's emotions, sacrifice their own needs. And how the parent tend to treat such a child is they'll say stuff like, thinking that they're complimenting the child, saying you're such a mature, you're so mature for your age. I don't know what I would do without you. You're the only one who really gets me. And the parent leans on this child emotionally. What this child tends to develop from that or learn from that is their worth is in serving others. They always put themselves last. They neglect themselves. They abuse themselves by neglecting themselves. And you may see this in a lot of relationships with women who came from parents like that, wherein they will I'm trying to remember the term that I grew up hearing. That them would give them rib and what? What the other one got love? Something about give them last rib or something like that. All right. Such a child thinks that everyone's emotions is their responsibility. They're responsible for everyone's emotions. Them the one be sad, them the one to be unhappy. So them always a go to the way. They're always going out of the way. And they tend to think that their needs is in no way a factor. It is in no way important. Now, man, you need to do this for yourself. Nah, it's okay. That can stay. That can wait. Such a child grow up becoming codependent. They grow up caretakers in all relationships. So it is difficult for such a child to have a really loving, happy, and lasting relationship. You see why so many persons are in terrible relationships? Such a child burns out easily. And what such a child tends to do is attract a lot of narcissists who tends to be the needy ones, the ones who are seeking the caregivers. If it's a man, him tend to attract the damsels in distress. If it's a woman, she will attract the childlike boy, the boy-like child. These roles tends to follow the child into adulthood. The tragic reality is that the golden child becomes a narcissist or a perfectionist. The scapegoat becomes a codependent or rebellious narcissist, while the lost child struggles with identity and connections. The caretaker becomes a people pleaser. Now, unless these individuals do deep healing work, they repeat the pattern of becoming a narcissist. The cycle is this: the narcissistic parent, damaged child, then the damaged child begots children, and then the cycle keeps going. Now, this damaged child becomes either an extreme people pleaser, as I said, or they become the narcissist themselves. And here's the tragedy. Here's where it becomes even more of a tragedy. The ones who become narcissists often know they were victimized. They were the victim of a narcissistic parent. They know that their parent was toxic. And they might even know the term narcissist or narcissism and use it to describe their parent. But they never see that they became the very thing they hated. They became their parent. Now, how the children of narcissists becomes narcissists, let me break it down. Path one, or the first stage, identification with the aggressor. This is a psychological term. If you can't escape the abuser, you become yourself the abuser as a survival mechanism. It's all psychological. A little girl grew up with a narcissistic mother. The mother is controlling, emotional, abusive, plays the victim. She's manipulative. The little girl learns this is how you survive. This is how you get power. This is how you protect yourself from being hurt, is what this little girl learned. The little girl internalized all this to think, I can in no way ever be vulnerable. I can in no way trust anyone. It's either control or be controlled. So become the victim before someone else makes you a victim. She grows up and without realizing, she treats her parents, the tendency from the parents becomes her tendencies. She becomes controlling like the mother, manipulative like the mother, and plays the victim like the mother. She becomes her mother. The second stage, or the next path, is the only model of love is this. The narcissistic behavior is all you know. It's all the child knows. It becomes the template for their relationship. Say a little boy grew up with a narcissistic father. Father is demanding. He's never satisfied. He's emotionally unavailable. It's critical and controlling. This little boy learns love is conditional. You earn it through performance. Weakness is unacceptable. Emotions are for the weak. He grows up believing I must be perfect. I must control the outcomes. I can in no way ever show vulnerability. I can never admit weakness. He becomes a narcissist. And not because he's evil, but because that's the only model of love or being a man that he knows. That's what his father taught him. So he's going to go through life in this manner, controlling, always want to control the outcomes. That's what daddy taught him. The tragic irony is that children of narcissists often say with conviction, I will never be anything like my mother or my father. I will never treat people that way. And the truth is that they genuinely mean it. But without deep therapy, brutal self-awareness, and intentional healing, they will repeat the same patterns their parents did. Why? Because the patterns are all they know. The patterns is wired in their brain. It's psychological. The patterns feel normal. Now, the generational pattern, what will be deemed a generational curse, continues. The victim of a narcissistic parent develops the same tendencies and carry it on to the next generation if nothing is done. How to tell if you're becoming what you hate? How to tell if you're becoming the narcissistic parent you despise? This requires brutal, painful honesty with yourself. Because you have to ask yourself questions like, do I use my trauma as an excuse or an explanation? The difference is this. An explanation is I have trust issues because of my past, but I'm working on them. I'm going to therapy. I recognize when I'm being triggered and I try to manage it. That's an explanation. An excuse is I went through your phone because of my past trust issues. I wonder if you realize the difference. The second question you have to brutally ask yourself is, can I take accountability without deflecting? Accountability looks like this. I was wrong to yell. I'm sorry. That was my issue, not yours. I'm working on managing the anger issue that I grew up with. Deflection is I'm only yelling because you made me angry. It's taking no accountability. Because of you. It is what I call the Adamic syndrome. It's the woman that you gave me made me do it. Mhm. You push my buttons. You caused me to carry on this way. You triggered me. It's your fault. The third question you have to ask yourself is, do I have empathy for other person's pain? Do I have empathy for others? And how can you tell if you actually have empathy or if you lack empathy? Empathy is when someone you profess to love is hurting. Do you genuinely show affection? Do you genuinely take time to show them that I'm here with you, I'm here to support you? Even if it might be a little inconvenience to you? Do you even just ask, what can I do? That is showing empathy. When you lack empathy, same scenario, someone you profess to love is hurting, you tend to feel annoyed. Oh, that again? Mm, you can be so dramatic. You're so things just get to you easy. Or you may deflect and say, I'm going through stuff too. Next question to ask is, am I willing to be challenged by a therapist, friend, or a mentor? Are you open? And how you can tell the difference is that is hard to hear. When you're corrected, you may say, that is hard to hear, but maybe you are right. Let me think about it. It's different from getting in all defensive modes. You're taking that person's side, or you don't get it. Nobody gets it. You don't understand. I don't get no support. Yeah. Mhm. So these are what I'm sharing with you now is for you to be able to measure where you at. The next test is question yourself. Do I see patterns in my relationship or only in others? Self-awareness is what this comes down to. So if you are aware of yourself, you make known that I've noticed that I struggle with trust in every relationship. You'll hear a person say that them not trust nobody. Every relationship, I don't know, I don't trust people. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that you push people away? Or is it a case of projection wherein why do I keep attracting narcissists? Everyone I date is toxic. Why are all the men or women that I've been with like that? Is what you may ask yourself. That is projection over self-awareness. Now, if the questions that I say to use as a test or a benchmark hit you in terms of the second ones, hit you more than the first ones, if you can relate to the second ones more than the first ones, you might have to become more attentive, because what's happening there? You may have become what you hated. You may have become your parent, who was a narcissist. And listen, my brothers and sisters, that is painful to realize, but guess what? It's also humbling. Why? Because it's the first step of actually healing. The first step is awareness. The next step is acceptance. The third and major step is action. So the question is if you're going to take action. Because to take action, the path to breaking the curse, the narcissistic curse, is first, as I said, to acknowledge it. Yes, acknowledge the fact that your parent was a narcissist and you may have developed some narcissistic traits. This is the hardest step, because what happened? The untamed and fragile ego is going to fight you. Your false self is going to resist. But get it straight now. Until you acknowledge it, nothing will ever change. That's the first step. The second step is to stop using trauma as an excuse. Your past explains your behavior. It in no way excuses it. You're responsible for your own healing. No one else can. I feel like I want to go Bible right about now. Philippians 2:12 states that you have to work out your salvation, your deliverance. And you have to do it. So no matter how much you fast and pray, ain't going to change until you choose to become the change. The third step is getting real therapy. Not the therapy that validates you. The therapy that challenges you. The one that will hold you accountable, call you out. That kind of therapy. Dr. Shanz and I are here to assist you on that journey. The next step to take is radical accountability. For every failed relationships, ask yourself, what was your part in this? This is something people have a tendency to fail to do. They're never a part of the problem. And Dr. Shanz and I will always make known to persons in counseling sessions, we have a tendency to ask, what is your part in all this? Because a relationship is in no way one-sided. One person will run a relay. So what is your part in this? What did you do or what did you fail to do? So you have to take accountability. Look back on your relationships. What did you fail to do or what did you do that resulted in an end relationship? The next step is to make amends. If you have hurt someone, especially was close to you. Acknowledge it. Apologize genuinely. That means say you have to go into the person's space now and become mushy with them. But yeah, then change your behavior. Because words without actions are words without meaning. The sixth step is to choose differently. When I say about this now, this is for persons who have children. Choose to parent differently than you were parented. Love differently than how the parent to you professed love or expressed love. Communicate differently than you were taught. Break the cycle. Only you can do it. Here's the beautiful redemptive truth. That because you were the child of a narcissistic parent and seem to feel that you're damaged, you're broken, it in no way means you're doomed. Because a lot of children of narcissistic parents have done the work and have broken the cycle. They have faced their own darkness, taken the brutal accountability, gone through years of therapy, learn healthy patterns, healed from the trauma, and raised children who are secured, healthy, and loved. The curse can be broken, but it requires humility, as in admitting that you have a problem, admitting that you may have narcissistic traits. It takes courage. It takes commitment more than anything else. And it may take you years, it may take months. It depends on how much you're willing to put in the work. It can take months, it can take years. The next thing that it's going to take is accountability. And in no way just to yourself, but to others who will call you out. You have to take accountability for that. Now, for those who are still living with narcissistic parents, if you are an adult child still dealing with a narcissistic parent, option one is this. And it may sound harsh, but that Jamaican would have said no knowings, cut off, straight cut off. If the relationship is severely abusive and there's your parent just refuse to be civil, block them. Block them. Distance them. You need to protect your sanity. You need to protect your future. You need to protect your future generation. Because what's going to happen? You allow the children of you to get close to those narcissistic parents. The children, them, even though you are groom them, they will still be influenced by a narcissistic parent who may encourage them to develop narcissistic traits without even intentionally doing it. That's what influence is. Influence is what flows in, the magical essence that flows in. That's the influence. I'll get too deep on that. The next option is this: low communication. As in family gatherings. If them want to meet up, you meet up in a public place. And you keep it limited. Sounds harsh, but hey, gotta protect yourself. Now, for those who are parenting after coming out of a household with narcissistic parents. If you are a parent, ensure to validate the children of you. Validate the feelings. Them seem upset, ask them. You seem upset, son. You seem upset, baby girl. What's happening? What's going on? Make them know that their feelings matter. Even if they try to shrug you off. It's okay, mom. It's all right. No, it's all right, daddy. Now, man, talk to me. What's going on? Your feelings matter. Apologize. This is what many parents not do, because in their eyes, they can never be wrong as a parent. The child is always wrong. If there's any wrong, it's the child. But when you are wrong, apologize. I was wrong for yelling. I was wrong for not listening. I was wrong for not paying attention or valuing your feelings within that moment. I apologize. The next thing you need to do is let them be their own person. Celebrate their unique interests, their personality, their strengths. Never force them to be a mini me, a mini version of you. Give the child love without conditions. Love them because they are who they are, not because of what they have achieved. Respect their boundaries and get them therapy as well. Now, this is where it gets even more in depth. If the one you are with is a child of a narcissistic parent, get this straight. You need to know this. You can in no way fix them by thinking you can loving them into being a better version of themselves. You can in no way love them enough for them to be healed. You can only support them. They have to be the one to do the work. They have to be the one who's willing to take that accountability and put in the work and go to therapy and know that and an overnight thing. If they are using the past as an excuse to refuse accountability, the sad reality is you need to protect yourself and the children if children are in the picture. Now, if you were raised by a narcissistic parent and you are realizing these patterns in you, this is in no way condemnation. This is an invitation to heal. It's time for you to do more than just learn the language. What language I'm talking about? The language that was taught to you through the lifestyle that the parents to you presented to you. It's more than identifying that you have come out of that household, more than just being a savior of that, a survivor. But actually doing the deep work needed for the transformation to take place. Your parent may have damaged you. Yeah, that is real. All right? But what you do with the damage moving forward, that is your responsibility. You can prolong the curse or you can break it. The generational curse is real, but it can be broken. If you were raised by a narcissistic parent, it was in no way your fault. You never deserved that. You deserve better. You can heal. You can break the cycle instead of repeating it. is what Dr. Shanz and I want you to know right now. If you became what you hated, there's hope. Acknowledge it, get the help, and change. If you're parenting after narcissistic abuse, you can do this. You can be a parent that was in no way your parent. The children of you can be the generation that breaks the curse, become free from this. The curse can stop with you if you choose to. Again, Dr. Shanz and I are here to assist you with breaking the curse, breaking the cycle. Just set an appointment by WhatsApp at 345-923-2567. That's 345-923-2567. Or email 547advisors@gmail.com. That's 547advisors@gmail.com. Because narcissism shows up outside of one's family, it also can show up at your workplace, churches, position. And when your livelihood and your spiritual life is controlled by a narcissist, that requires a whole different roadmap. The next episode is going to be addressing the narcissistic boss or pastor. When your leaders are toxic. All right. Any questions? Well, welcome to the Relationship Blueprint, and thank you for being so open. This is a safe space. You can express yourself. Thank you, CEO. We keep it real around here. Remember the disclaimer, sir. Real talk. Yeah. Real enlightenment. Keep it real. So, I was unable to see most of the comments you made because I had to be going through the presentation within a timely manner. So,
I can give you a premise.
You're saying that you are a child of a narcissistic parent?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mother or father?
Mother.
Okay. Single mother?
Yeah. In a sense, yeah. Well, single mother to me.
Okay.
So, and like, I can give a premise. In the sense. So, it's something I'm aware that once I was aware of the term narcissism and I could look back in my childhood, I could tell that yes, she's a narcissistic mom. But like recently, or more so in the last 2 months of last year, a situation happened that kind of, how you would put it, it sank the nail in its head to say that, okay, this is what this really is, and some things may just never change. And especially how everything turned onto me as if I was the villain in the storyline, kind of made things bad. So like, me and my little sister had like an issue where we were trying to sort out something like a phone, you know, because I was supposed to give her some funds to go towards paying for like the motherboard for a phone. Some things never got communicated straightforward, and I made the decision that, you know, okay, I don't think I'm going to bother buy the phone, you know, get the phone. She went to my mother to talk about the situation, and my mother and her called me to like basically attack me. And one of the attack points was, prior to her calling me, I had posted on my status saying that it looked like some people take me for boo-boo, you know, effing clown, with laughing emojis. Mind you, at the time, I wasn't even talking about anything in relation to them, because I was going through another situation that actually was more important than the disagreement me and my sister have. Because like, okay, I'm no longer going to buy the phone. It is what it is. I just saw. Move on, type of thing. My little sister apparently took that comment that I posted on my status to say that it's about her. My mother and her called me on a two-way call, and two of them basically went at me, and my mother was like, oh, take down the post, I told you not to post this. And I'm like, look, the post is not about her, first of all. It's about this situation. And at the time, they were unwilling to accept that it's not about them. It's almost as if they really wanted the post to be a
We've lost you
about
there.
them. We're
Okay.
okay. You guess what? All right, you're wrong. You're right. You're wrong. I say I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Whatever you say, I'm wrong. No, if you say I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It don't make no sense, because even if I'm trying to explain myself, you won't accept it. So I am wrong. You're right. I am wrong. And I remember at one point during the whole conversation, or I don't even know if that was really a conversation, still an argument, I was crying, and I remember my little sister saying that only wicked people cry, and I'm wicked like the rest of my sisters then, because my mom have more than 6 kids, and each of us have our own story in regards to like our own relationship with our mother. Each of us have our own different storyline and thing. So after the situation, after the argument, I remembered actually posting now on my status saying, if me cry, me wrong. If me do this, me wrong. Damned if me do, damned if me don't. At this point, I can actually say this status post is obviously about them. But I did not call any name. I was upset. I leave it because I'm the kind of person that don't like to argue with adults. Like anybody older than me, I'm not the kind of person that likes to argue. I would rather avoid it. If I do end up arguing and going back and forth, the string probably pop in my head. And if I don't argue, I am going to cry, because really and truly that's the easiest thing for me to do. I mean, I really and truly don't want to get angry. I don't like the energy that comes with it. So all of that happened. I am upset. I decided that, you know what, I'm going to keep to myself. I didn't speak to them really during that week, but I realized that when I posted stuff on my status about talking to a therapist about the situation and stuff, I remember my mother posting an emoji in like response to my status, and it was almost as if they were mocking me. But I never paid any mind. I didn't respond to the message. They flew out and gone to Panama. The second week they're in Panama, she called me. When I answered the phone, I wasn't smiling. I was just there like, hello, what's up? Apparently that pissed her off, and she's like, why am I still upset? Why am I not smiling and laughing? And I was like, what is there for me to smile about? Like, we're not really cool, so why would I be laughing and smiling as if nothing happened? And I remember she's like, oh, I don't really understand what really happened, tell me the story, what happened. When I started to give my side of the story, I just hear my little sister in the background jump up. What did she say? So I hung up the phone, because I was like, okay, this is giving a planned conversation. I don't want to take part in it. She called me back, and like a fool, I answer the phone. The woman start cuss me off and tell me, oh, me nah no manners, I'm rude, I'm disgusting and that. And she can't believe, say, I'm still there upset after they're there in Panama thinking about what they're going to purchase for me to carry back home. And I'm just like, okay. And the entirety of the conversation, she just go at me, and me being a soft person, and me just not gonna argue with my mother, I cry. And I remember her saying at that time that, oh, my wicked like Rosalie, which is this influencer, or I don't think of her as an influencer, but this lady on TikTok, and I took that as disrespect, because around that time, I think something came out on the media that lady stabbed up her mother or something like that. And I was like, wow, you're comparing me to this lady, and I've never fought you, Like, most of my life, you would have technically beat me and stuff. But I did that. The call ended. Cool. Time passed by. They came back to Jamaica. My partner went to visit them because he's throwing partner with her. I never went with her. She's upset by the fact that I didn't go with him to see her. So she go in her feelings, cuss. Me still not interact or engage her. My third older sister had spoken to me when I talked to her about the situation that, keep to yourself, keep to your con, and just keep your keep your energy. I keep doing all of that, not engaging her, talking to her until it start become a thing whereby, okay, I'm hearing story that, hey, she's trying to put bad name on my reputation, and she's telling people bad things about
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, you, I didn't say anything bad, only to find out that apparently when my partner went to visit her and pay his partner draw, and she was like, why is she upset? I don't understand why she's upset at me or whatever. And he said in response that, look, I know growing up you try to raise her to the best of your ability, but she's traumatized. So the situation, the argument that you guys have kind of triggered her, and it kind of just reminded her of a moment that traumatized her, which was kind of right. Because, my mother and sister came at me. That's normally the dynamic growing up as a child. Once my little sister got to my mother and said, hey, this, that, and that at the sword, she's not going to listen to me, Even if I am not in the wrong, I am the wrong,
So exactly what I'm
And
hearing
then
here now, Roxanne it is, right?
Regina.
Regina. Okay, Regina.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing now, it sounds to me like the little sister is the golden child and you are the scapegoat.
Oh, she is the
All that
golden
you're saying
child.
right
There's
now,
no.
repeat?
She is the golden child. It's something that all of us as
Yes,
siblings are aware of.
there you.
And
All right, so all that you're
after
saying
that
right
happened,
now,
now,
mm-hmm,
after all that happened, fast forward to last week, Sunday, I got a call and I thought it was my third older sister, the one that told me to just continue to keep to myself to avoid conflict. I thought she was calling me. When I answered the call, it was my mother and all my siblings except one. And I was like, okay, then I made sure to mute myself on the call, and I hear my mother on there crying and talking about, she want to put herself in front of a truck and kill herself and all of these stuff. And I was like, okay then. And then my little sister was like, oh, it's Apple's fault, because that's what they call me. It's your fault. You're the reason the woman is caught crying and saying all of these things. And you know what she said. So I said, what did I say? Tell me, what did I say? You know what you said? I said, tell me, what did I say? Because I know me not say nothing now, not accuse me of saying something that I did not do. And eventually at this point, I was given the chance to actually give my side of the story for the first time. And surprisingly, my oldest sister, who at the time we weren't speaking, but here she is, she looked at my mother and was like, but you're wrong for that. Why are you trying to dictate to her when she should like feel better about this situation? Because not because you guys argue and wanna feel as if say, it done and over, wanna move on. That not means that she move on because she feels some type of way. How dare you tell her that? And then you're wrong for telling her that, you're coming like Rosalie, blah blah blah. And then my little sister was like, you should hear the things that she said to me in the voice note. She gave me pay attitude. And then I was like, in what way? I have the messages too. I have screenshots and I have the audio too. What did I say
good,
wrong?
good.
And what I said wrong apparently was the fact that my partner could have said to her that, I was traumatized by the situation. And in her eyes, dare I tell anything to my partner about what I experienced growing up? It should have stayed in the family. And because I did that, that's ruining her reputation. And
All
I
right.
remember my older sister was sorry. I know it's kind of
I
long and drawn
know.
out, but
So
to bring
here what's
closure
going
to
to
it.
happen, Regina. You're definitely going to have to set up a session because we don't want to hold the rest of the persons here with
Yeah,
this.
so
This is
basically what I
personal,
was
so you know.
No, the thing is
Mm-hmm.
that what I wanted to say, the conclusion was at the end of all of everything, because they made us do some apology, and I remember apologizing, but my mother didn't want to apologize, and when she did give an apology, I know it wasn't genuine, and then she was trying to get me to apologize to my younger sister, which I said that I wasn't going to do because I didn't do anything to apologize for. But all of this stemmed from the fact that I was keeping to myself and not engaging with them. And if it never cement before that, hey, she's a narcissist, it cemented no. And then one of the things I realized is that every one of my sister have like an encounter with her, and they will go rah rah, and she don't give them the same kind of energy. And me, that kind of be peaceful about it, me get all of the rah rah, like
Right.
I'm literally the villain in the
What this is
story.
saying to me, what I don't even want to say it to you publicly. You definitely need to set up a session. I can tell you exactly what is happening there, but I don't even want to say it publicly. So set up a session, send a message directly, send a DM, and we will set up a session and we will get to the bottom of it. I can tell you, the wife and I can tell you exactly what's happening. All right. So thank you for being so candid. Thank you for being so open. Um, yeah, that's all I can say. Any input, love? So we have to wrap. Regina, thank you. Thank you for your openness. As I said, send a DM right after the live. We work out something. Yeah, this you need to definitely talk to someone who has a knowledge as to what's really happening in your situation. Let me make the final roll call. Who else is here now, love? Final roll call. CEO, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Lady Ann, Baby T, come again, love? Baby T20, thank you. DJ Hayes, thank you for being here. Dr. Shans, thank you for being here. PH114, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. The next relationship blueprint, as I said, is going to be on the narcissistic boss and pastor, because a lot of person, we know a lot of person with church hurt. So be here for the next relationship blueprint. Next first day, that will be, what date is that going to be, love? The 22nd. All right, so the 22nd is when you'll see me again. Regina, send a direct message. We'll work something out. We'll talk. Thank you for being here. So long for now. I'm off the block. Let me exit with this song that I said a lot of persons have overlooked. This particular song by Kelly Clarkson. Listen to the words of this song. It's about a narcissistic parent. But a lot of persons is unaware of this. Regina, thank you again.
This concludes today's broadcast.